represent the...
Please go to the microphone. Stand
I represent the Slippery Rock Senior Center. There are 4 of us here this morning. We just received notice that the center would be closed in a few months, and we just begged for more time to be with the center. I just will ask my friends to give their remarks.
Well, okay, are you done? We'll let Kevin.
You're done. Yeah, you can sit down. Do you want to give the history?
I'd like to speak to her about more time. I'd like to give more time too. I thought of this idea. I appreciate you forthcoming today. I'd like to give you more time too. And I've got an idea. You know, we're not on an emergency basis here, and this would be an excellent campaign. We have 13 commissioners running for the next election, and if they'd like to, we ought to delay closing the centers, and if they think they ought to do it, why don't they run on it, okay? If the new county commissioners want to run or close the centers, these 2 gentlemen did not run on closing Sunnyview, they did not run on building a new building, and they did not run on closing the senior center, all but 1 or 1, 2, and 1 in Cranberry. My idea here is, you mentioned about time, let's let the people, let's let the just voters decide what they want. And we have the time, and let them run on it and see where the vote comes out, okay? But thank you very much for coming, and I get to rebut if you don't watch us very often. I comment, or we have, each one of us can comment on what you say. But thanks for coming, all right?
Thank you, Mrs. Rossman. Next speaker, please.
Clara Jankowski. Jankowski?
Jankowski, yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Clara Jankowski. I'm from the Slippery Rock Senior Citizen Center. I'm pleading for our centers to be kept open. You think we're a small center, but we really aren't. Just because people don't eat with us every day, you think we're small. But we have at least 15 people coming for exercise every morning. Only 1 of them eat with us. If you would look at our Thursday programs, which is our biggest day, we'd see we have 30 to 40 people eating with us because it's party day. We have bingo, and we have 50-50 raffle, and we also celebrate holidays and birthdays on that day. So everybody comes on that day. We have programs every morning. On Monday mornings, 3 days a month, we have scrapbooking, and 1 day a month, we have crafting from one girl. We have Tuesday morning, or Monday morning also is Bridge Club. Tuesday morning is 500 Club. Wednesday morning is sign language. Thursday morning is chess. And Friday is Mahjong. So people come in and play these games with us, but then they leave. They don't eat with us. So we are a big center, and we have lots of other things going on also. We have Bible study. We play dominoes and rummy cube. I'm trying to think of one of these things. Breathing class. We have art class. And we do a lot of things at our center, and people really join us. They just don't eat with us, and they think we're a small center. And if I may, one girl wanted to come today but couldn't come, and I said I would read her letter to
And
you.
that's not permitted, ma'am.
Is that okay?
No.
No, come on, I do.
By him, not me.
By the
Okay.
not
By him.
by the policy, not by me, by the policy.
Okay.
He
That's okay.
originated the policy.
No, Jim, I did not.
Okay. But we have lots of great people. I go there almost every day. It's an incentive to get up and go somewhere, to do something. If you stop our centers, I don't know what I'm going to do every day.
Okay.
Thank you. I hope you listen to our plea and help
We
us
will.
with our
Thank you
center.
very much for your
Okay,
remarks.
thank you.
Claire, can I ask you one question?
Yes.
I get to do that because I get to interact with the people I want to, but these guys choose not to do it, but I do. Can you tell me, I didn't write down what day party day was?
The party day?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we celebrate every birthday.
Oh,
And
okay.
we give them a little gift. Mostly, we used to give them fruit, but now we give them a gift card. And so they have something.
Do you have a special
a
day for
gift.
that, or is it just when their birthday is?
It's just when their birthday is.
Oh, okay.
And also, have the bingo, which is, maybe $2 or $3 a game, and then we have a jackpot with whatever's left over.
Okay.
And also, we have a 50-50, which 50% goes, it's not a big deal, but it's something. And the people enjoy that, and we really get a big crowd on
Yeah, and it
Thursday.
helps raise 15% of the total cost of each center. You're obligated to raise 15%
Yeah.
of the total cost for each center.
Plus, whatever we make, they take 10% of.
Okay.
So really, and then we have to save our money from this year to spend next year. So what's the money that we've already saved this year since last June? Where's it gonna go? Probably to the new center. But it's our money we work for, and we're not going to get it.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Claire. You
Okay.
did a great job.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Next is Sandra Dye.
My name is Sandra Dye, and I'm also from the Slippery Rock Senior Center. I started going to the center several months ago. My husband passed away, and I was having a very rough time, and my doctor suggested I go there, and I've really made friends, and it's been a hard trying to get things settled with my husband, and the friends I have, they cry with me, they laugh with me. It's just been something really great to have. I also wanted to talk about how we found out that the senior center was closing. We found out by somebody, our art instructor was at the Clearview Mall and was told. Nobody came formally to us from aging. We still have not had anybody come and tell us that we're closing, but we've been told we are. And they traveled to get people down here, 17, 18 miles. I'm certainly not gonna, I can't afford to come down here every day like I do go to Slippery Rock now. And like Claire said, we have many programs that we all participate in. We're all friends. There are some people who, this is the only time they get out. They don't drive anymore. This is where they come to. They take the BART bus and they come. So this is some place for seniors to go. And we certainly would appreciate your consideration and making the decision after that time comes and allowing us to speak to them.
Thank you very much.
Sandra, I have one question for you. At any time it is Sandra, right? Or,
Sandra, yes.
okay. At any time, did you ever receive a survey at the center to see what your feelings are, keeping it open or closing? Or did some person come to ask you your opinion?
We never had any input.
You never did?
No.
Okay, I appreciate that, thanks. Well, I don't appreciate that, but I appreciate the book knowledge.
Glenda Eakin.
My name is Glenda Aiken, also from the Senior Center at Slippery Rock. It seems to me that the programs are going to be geared more for the younger senior citizens, the ones in their 60s that are able to drive to come to Clearview. But the ones of us that are in our 80s, like I am, or high 70s, they aren't going to be able, we shouldn't be on Route 8 coming down 15 miles an hour down Route 8 with a whole line behind us and complaining about us senior citizens and being on the road. We shouldn't be on the road. And we do enjoy going every day just to get out, to get something, visit with people. And another thing, Mercer County is expanding. Their senior centers, citizens, three of their centers are expanding. And I can't understand why Butler's is in such bad shape. Butler County is in dire shape that they have to close the centers when Mercer County is expanding theirs. What is the difference? Is it management? It's really what it seems like to be. And as Sanders said, we make this money by all sorts of things. We got a soup sale and whatever, and we have to turn into the area agency on aging. What we don't spend goes for the next year. So what we've already made this year, we're not going to be able to use it anyway. I think we have like $4,000 in our kitty. And
we aren't gonna be able to use it because we aren't gonna be here the next year. And it just seemed like it was done in a very secretive, unethical way. And we think that maybe there would be something still that could be done to keep our centers open. That's all I had to say.
But for all four, I mean, nothing is definite yet. It's still being studied, it's still being looked at.
Okay, when will it be decided?
I don't know.
You don't know.
You can be assured I'll keep you abreast of that.
Okay. That was,
Thank you very much, Glenda.
okay.
And just so you foreknow this, we're not in dire straits. Butler County is one of the luckiest counties in the state with our growth in Cranberry and with our Mississippi Shield money and with the royalties in Sunnyview. We get over 600,000. Well, you don't know when they're gonna turn on the gas, okay? But we got 600,000 last year from the 180 acres of royalties underneath Sunnyview. And I can't think of any better use for the gas. Sunnyview's gone, these two gentlemen sold it, okay? And I can't think of a better use than to keep that money in the hands of senior citizens. But thank you very much.
James Eckstein.
Jim Eckstein, Butler Township. Today I would like to speak about the wonderful experience I had visiting the Slippery Rock Senior Center yesterday. The Senior Center is located in Slippery Rock Township building at 155 Branchton Road in Slippery Rock Township. The center is managed by Beth Campbell. Beth has 5 years experience at that center and has a 4 years bachelor's degree in senior care. It was very obvious to me that after a long meeting with her that she deeply cares about helping others and loves her job. How did I happen to visit the Slippery Rock Senior Center yesterday? On Monday, I received 14 letters from members voicing their concern about the county closing the facility and 7 other Butler County senior centers. That day, I called up one of the officers of the Butler, Claire Janikowski, which she became today. I had such a good conversation with Claire that I really wanted to meet her, see the center, and understand how the center operates. Unfortunately, due to the extreme cold weather, the center was closed that day. Hence the meeting with Director Campbell and the review of the facility and its programs. The Slippery Rock Township Center is relatively new and spacious facility with large windows allowing light to stream in. They have a full-service kitchen and handicap-accessible restrooms. The whole facility was bright and clean. Some of the activities which they went over were Bridge 500, exercise classes, art classes, yoga classes. Other activities are spelling bees, bingos, chess club, card club, B&A game day, scrapboarding, scrap-booking, not boarding. Sorry about that. That was a mistake. Scrapbooking, panorama, which is a heavy breathing class, which I have to do additional research on that because I don't even know what it is myself, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right. Hot lunches are available also if they so desire. A lot of people choose not to do the lunches. Now back to the members' concerns. It seems Bill McCarrier and Dale Pinker want to do for the county senior centers what they did for the seniors at Sunnyview, shut down their safety net. These two totalitarians with 1 foot on a banana peel want to take from our seniors without taking the time to talk to them and exploring their needs. We are elected officials whose duty is to serve the people and represent and research their needs. Your job is not to impose your will on the subjects of your kingdom. Let's show our seniors the dignity and respect they deserve. In closing, the former opinions and statements expressed by me, alluding to Bill McCarrier and Pinkerton championing seniors, are mine and mine alone, and do not reflect the opinions or policies of Butler County. The county is not responsible for the truth getting out, which is supplied today by Jim Eckstein, which is to close all but one senior center and bus the seniors to Clearview Mall. Thank you very much. It was right on time. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
Peggy Apperson.
Morning. My name's Peggy Ebersole, Middlesex Township. The Board of Commissioners recently approved the Parks and Recreation shelter rates for 2015. On Friday, February 27th, which is this coming Friday, this room, which is the public meeting room located on the first floor of the Government Center, will open at 7:30 a.m. for the Parks and Recreations to take your Alameda Park shelter reservations. The shelters make nice places for all your summer activities. The taking of the reservations means spring is around the corner, and if you have any shelter questions, they can be answered by Parks and Recreations at 724-284-5383. Second, the next early sign that spring is just around the corner is the seedling sale held by the Butler County Conservation District. The seedling order forms are now available through the Conservation Office. For more information, you can contact the Conservation Office at 724-284-5270 or Commissioner Eckstein's office at 724-284-5102. Keep thinking spring, it's just around the corner. Thank you. Peggy Ebersol, Middlesex Township.
Mark Kronitzky.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Okay, first of all, I want to say I think it was great what Ben Hahn did with the Controller's Office to save some money. And I know there's not a real good agreement on exactly how much we saved there, but I think that's good. I think we still need to work on saving some more money in the IT office, human resources, and maybe even the Commissioner's office. I'm a little worried about, I saw a payment last time to the YMCA. I believe it was for senior services, for health and fitness. I'm a little concerned about that. I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, I go to the Butler Health and Fitness Center. I pay about 25% less than what I paid when I was at the Y. They also pay property taxes. They also pay business privilege taxes. Y doesn't do that. So I'm wondering, why are we not favoring people that pay taxes? Parking. I think it's great that we're renting 5 places of parking from the city for in front of the jail. I wish we'd rent some more for the county employees. I know we're gonna have a parking problem here when the city no longer allows county employees to park on the street. I know they have an open space underneath the bridge that would be, I think that the city would make a really good deal on renting that. Board limits, term limits for board members. I'd like to limit them too. I think that would be a nice idea. However, I do realize it's hard to get people to serve on the board, especially people that are qualified. I know it's a nice idea to limit the terms. I know I'll talk to Commissioner Pinkerton. He feels strongly about that no one's to serve more than 2 terms for a commissioner. Am I mistaking that?
As an elected official.
For an elected official, okay. I don't want to mistake you. And so, but like I said, I don't know. I kind of do like the idea of term limits, if they're possible. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, Mark, I'd like to say about parking. You know, when I first came here, we discussed as commissioners about having the elected officials who make a lot of money and certain county officials pay for parking. I don't see why we're getting a free ride for parking. We have not addressed that. I'm glad you brought that up. You know, I saw that go through, that we're paying for Judy Mosier to park out in front of the prison. Or her, I just happen to know Judy's there because she has bad knees. You know, she had needed it. And I was fully for that. But why are we giving a free ride? Why are we going to change it? Hopefully the other commissioners will agree on me. Let's do it sooner rather than later. These 2 gentlemen, I think, are paying for the parking spots, and so am I right now. Why are we giving away to high-paid officials parking spots? Let's buy, I want to get people in the city lot where they should be and not on the streets. But we should make the people pay. You know, now, I'm not advocating everybody pay. Obviously, you know, with the sheriffs has to have, you know, emergency management has to have the sheriff. Not for everybody. Come on, elected officials are getting a free ride when we make buku bucks, you know. But I'm glad you brought that up. Maybe we can talk to them about it, okay? Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. For the record, I do pay $40 a month to the Historical Society for my parking space, and I believe Commissioner Pinkerton does too. So we do not get free parking. Next.
Matthew Deck.
morning, my name's Matthew Deck, I'm from Butler Township. I was thinking about what was going on here on the last escapade here, where in which you said there should be reasons given as pertaining unto why the individuals from the Housing Development Authority right there were relieved of their duties temporarily with pay, and yet nobody's allowed to know why. And as I thought about that, I also began to think, why did, for that matter, the Attorney General of Pennsylvania, Kathleen Kane, say that these quote-unquote pornography involving children was not kiddie porn, but yet the Supreme Court justices had to resign from it? If it wasn't, why weren't those images released? Is she actually covering up?
Mr. Deck, this isn't county business.
Oh, yes, this is county business, because if the people of Pennsylvania agree with me
That's
saying...
not Butler County business.
Okay, well then Butler County business comes down to this. What makes you think that we the people don't have a right to know why, when our taxes are being paid for, why that individual was laid off?
That's a housing authority issue. Ask them.
No.
No. Why was it brought up here?
We appoint them, let them go.
This is
It's up to the chair whether he goes.
This is the,
That's not
if
for
it's
the board.
happening here in Butler, it's not part of Butler County issue? The really question here is...
It's not an issue for this board. You can address that to the housing authority.
Well, why are you telling us?
I don't agree with that whatsoever.
I'm not
I don't
shutting it
agree
down.
with that
I'm telling you
whatsoever. I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Okay?
And what good are these people?
This has nothing to do with county business.
Bill, why is the housing authority, when we appoint these people and they're not doing their due diligence?
Yeah.
Why isn't that?
You
why
appoint
isn't
them,
that
but
part
there's
of this
nothing
meeting?
to do with you, man.
Why is that part of this meeting? Tell us why.
Yeah, that's what I'm here to, as a sovereign citizen who elected you that pays you out of my taxes.
Matthew, the policy for public speaking says you will address business that is before the commissioners today or in the future.
No.
Yes.
It does not say
It
that.
does say that.
It says a matters of concern. That's what it says in the Sunshine Law.
Well,
Matters of concern.
It matters.
And that is
Then our vote
true.
could be before the board, and whether or not...
No, it doesn't say that.
Well, you'll
Mike.
figure
It's
that
not
out
wrong.
till next
Matters
time.
of concern, okay? Mike, you are dead wrong.
Okay.
Let people speak.
The statute speaks for
Okay.
itself, and you know what.
This is America. I know exactly what it is. I've read it 20 times. I came
Maybe
here
you
for
should
4
read
and
it
a half
21
years.
times. I don't know.
Okay, Mike, you're wrong.
Maybe one more
It's
time.
matters of concern. Do you want to fight it in court with these people? You know, the ACLU, you're laughing now. I'm glad you guys are laughing.
I'm laughing at you.
Yeah, you always do, so. Anyway, I believe, to respond to Deck, Matt Deck, I think it's really important that people have the right of free speech. We're in the United States of America, and for you to be, I'd like to say this. One of these people from the senior center called you up on the phone and expressed their concern to you, and you laughed at them, Bill. You laughed at them over the phone. Now, either they're lying or you did it, and they called you and you laughed at them for calling you.
I did
That
not
is
laugh.
inappropriate, and I think
Jim.
that you ought to have people, I'm speaking now, okay? I don't mind 2
This
minutes.
is not rebuttal to Mr.
You
Deck.
can rebut to
we're
me.
talking about
I'm talking
Matthew
about
Deck.
Matt Deck, okay? You know, free speech. And the people at the senior center ought to have free speech, Mike. Are you gonna rule me
They
out
do.
of order, Mike?
They
I don't
do
rule
have free
people out of
speech.
order.
Yes, you do. You interrupted Matt Deck quite often
Jim,
there.
can we continue with the meeting?
You know,
Business of
brother
the
Mike
commissioners?
was ruling him out of order.
Can we
You
continue
know?
with the business?
I guess, are my 2 minutes up, Mike?
Yes.
Now, are
If
they?
the
He's
chair-
got the timer.
If the chair says you're done, you're done.
Okay. No, I get my 2 minutes, okay? You're wrong about that.
In
All right.
rebuttal.
That's,
Anybody else, Amy?
That's all for public comment.
Thank goodness. All right, proclamations. Do we have any proclamations?
First, I would ask for approval of minutes.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
We have no proclamations and certificates this morning.
I'm out of
Under old business, we do have one item. Which would be requesting adoption of resolution 2015-04, amending resolution 2015-02, approving the salvage sale of 2005 Ford bus. This is the BART bus number 4 that was advertised for salvage sale. The previous high bidder ended up informing the county that it no longer wanted to take the bus. And so we've gone with the second highest bidder, who is MRC Scrap Metals of Butler, in the amount of $6 per 100 pounds. We ask your approval.
there a motion to approve this?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? I'll second. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, under Court Administration, Tom Holman.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Tom.
I have three things for your consideration this morning. First is the adoption of Resolution 2015 number 3, which would permit up to $25,000 of the Act 137 money collected by the recorder of fees to be used for the Butler County Homeowner program that would permit that program to continue through 2015. That's
Is there a motion to approve this?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? I'll second. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
My second thing this morning is I'm seeking the approval of a service agreement with Hobbycom Incorporated for the provision of microfilming and microfishing services to the Domestic Relations Office. And I would ask, just because of the layout of the contract, that if you approve that this would be signed by the chairman. Asking for your approval.
Is there a motion? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And finally, we're doing this today primarily because of a timing issue, just the way meetings lay out and when deadlines are due. I'm asking for your permission to make application to the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency for a grant in the amount of $10,000 that will permit us to bring in a consultant to help us create a 3 to 4 year prisoner reentry strategic plan. We don't have all the details of that wrapped up just yet. The warden will be bringing that to the prison board at your next meeting with all the details, but we need to have permission to apply, so we meet the deadline. So I'm asking for your permission.
I'll make that motion, Tom.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks for applying for all the grants you can, Tom.
Yes, sir.
It's much appreciated.
Next, under Emergency Services, Steve Biceps.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Steve.
As you know, we completed a high-level radio study to explore some of our available options moving forward, given the fact that we have an aging radio system that will be end of life on December 31st, 2018. I'm here today to ask for approval of a contract with Mission Critical Partners to do a complete radio study to explore all the options that we have available to us. For example, we had 3 options that were presented. There are at least 2 other options that are a possibility that we need to explore. I believe that getting into this contract with MCP to provide the consulting work will allow us to make an educated decision moving forward on such a robust product or project. This cost would be for a total of $71,769.75. Of that, $62,083.75 would be for the radio study. An additional $9,686 would be for some networking issues that we could possibly save money in the future using microwave and fiber technology. So I ask for your approval of that. It will be a total of $71,769.75.
Is there a motion? I'll make the motion. Is there a second? I will second it. Discussion?
Yeah, I have discussion on this. Just so the public knows this, due to FCC regulations, we have to vacate the T-band, which is high UFH frequencies where we're at now, by 2022. There's 3 choices. Low band UHF, we have to buy the channel or buy the airway bands there. So the second choice would be VHF, and the third choice is 700 or 800 megahertz. UHF works the best if you're inside buildings or on hill in the valley area, which we are, and the firemen are inside buildings. I talked to 13 volunteer firemen at random about that, 3 township officials. It was unanimous. I picked them at random. Didn't know most of them. They think that UHF works best, and we can save money on radios if we pick that. Now, my thing is not doing the study, but I think we do our due diligence just to see if we can buy the UHF bands first before we studied all 3 systems. If you can buy the one that's the cheapest, why not check that out? Just to give you a ballpark figure, which was done in the other study, the UHF is around $9.6 million, and that's total cost and the estimate and doing the maintenance on it for 12 years. The other system is over twice that amount, $20.6 million over the 12-year lifespan of the system. Now, we're talking $10 million here. I want to study the cheapest first. You know, I don't want to study the whole thing. See if we can get the bands, go for the cheapest system, and then it works the best. This is the ironic thing about it. It works the best until, you know, the state police and the state use the 700 bands and they have backup radios. It doesn't work in hills and valleys. I'd like to say this. It's my job to sit here to explore the cheapest thing first. Now, we have about 3 years to check this out. You can't tell me that we're at such a critical time that we can't do the one first and see the cheapest and easiest first. You know, this system, if we go through with this vote today and do this, it reminds me of the $400 toilet seat. You know, why wouldn't you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, I don't want to discriminate here, and get out the $40 plastic seat rather than $400? You know, when you do this, and we do 700 megahertz, it doesn't work. It doesn't work very well. Now, will it work if you throw enough money at it? Sure. You throw an extra 10 million. But I'm not for getting a $400 toilet seat. I'm for, checking out the $40 one first. Thank you very much.
This study is a comprehensive study that covers all of our needs, not just for today, but for years and years in the future. We're talking about public safety. We're talking about lives and property. And we want to do everything we can to make people's lives and property as safe as we possibly can. Without an adequate radio system, we can't do this. And so it's necessary, I believe, to study the whole thing. Whether or not we have to go with that higher megahertz rating, which doesn't work as well, is not up to us. It's up to whether we can acquire other ratings and other bands. We don't know that. And also we have to have this study tell us what is the best radio system to buy. As Steve said, our system is outdated, or it will be in another year, or 2 years, I guess. And we will not be able to buy parts for it. Do we want to take chances and run our system for another 2 or 3 years and hope that it doesn't break down, and hope that nobody's life is in jeopardy, and hope that nobody's laying along Interstate 79 in an accident? We can't get help to them because our radios don't work. This is one of the most critical, important areas of our county, is providing radio coverage that allows our emergency workers, whether they be firemen, police, EMTs, whatever, to get to the scene of an accident or a fire and protect lives. And so I believe that it's necessary to do this entire study so that we know what is best, not only for today, tomorrow, but for 10, 15 years down the road.
I'd like to respond to that.
Okay.
And it's funny about this. During the during a meeting we had with this in Bill's office, he came up with the idea of maybe exploring it first. Now, he brought the idea up. I was already working on it, but he wanted to explore flying the UHF channels first because he thought it would be a cost savings. Now he's turned about the other way, which is good. He got the information, so he switched. But don't pull the public safety on me, trick on me. You know, we had a state patrolman that died in a municipality near Pittsburgh, and he couldn't, there was a local police officer that could get him backup, and he's dead because they couldn't talk on the 2 radios. Make no mistake, I want everybody to know this. UHF goes better through buildings. If anybody can tell me it goes better in hill and valleys, and that's what we have. If a patrolman or a police officer, not a patrolman, if a police officer in one of our municipalities is in a valley in Evans City and he can't call for backup, UHF is better. Now, if you jam in 20 towers, there are enough towers, sure it'll work. Anything will work if you throw enough money. But for Bill to use that against me, that I don't care about public safety, is hogwash. The other system is better, and it's better for the volunteer firemen. It goes through buildings better. If you're on the second floor rescuing somebody, and you can have contact with that volunteer fireman there better. Okay? So you're actually misleading the public. The UHF goes better through buildings.
I never said that.
Don't use that as why you disagree.
Jim,
sure I am.
Jim, I never said you didn't care about public safety. I said that was the issue here with all of us, is public safety. Yes, I changed my mind from the time we sat at that meeting because I talked further with Steve and some other people, and I concluded it's better to do the entire study at one time. Okay, those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
The motion carries.
Or I am opposed, okay?
The motion carries.
Next, under facilities and
Good morning, Commissioner. Hi, Commissioner.
Today I've asked the ratification of PCO DC-15 for exterior fiberglass insulation in the Government Center Annex on the top two floors. This is 3.5 inches of R11 with a total amount of $15,095.18.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Well, just so we tell the public this, John, that's only for 2 floors, but 1 floor is gonna be vacant, correct? It's not finished, so we're gonna make the decision about the other floor later. We're not skipping a floor.
Correct.
We're delaying.
Possibly do that without the code.
And it was never, just so the public knows this, it was never in there. We wanna add insulation.
We're adding more insulation than what we was expecting in the building.
Yeah, thanks for correcting me there more. I appreciate that.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Next thing I have for you is PCGC-02. This would be a fire wall in the Sally Port connector hallway, provide an opening and protected, not less than 90 minutes fire rating, and provide and install magnetic door hardware as listed in the specs for the amount of $7,597.32. And this is for code review. Whenever the drawings come back out, code review, they want an extra door in
Is there a motion to do this?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
And I appreciate you telling the people that we needed to meet code by the inspector. Thanks, John.
No problem. Next one I have is PCO GC-8. This is a revised paddock wagon, garage door, dock, and stairs. We extended the raised slab area for the paddock wagon for the prisoner to walk directly onto the platform and reduce the risk of falls. And this would be in the amount of $8,921.90.
And I'll make that motion, John.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I'm all for safety. Thanks, John.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And that was an aye for me. I didn't say anything, sorry. That was an aye.
Next one is PCO GC-9. This is the prison foundation wall. We'll be adding waterproofing and flashing for the amount of $7,894.71.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have PCO GC-13. This is an upgrade of a sectional door at the Sally Port garage areas for greater durability and serviceability for $1,702.05.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. John, right back up to item D for one moment, please. We're adding flashing there, and originally the walls were going to be torn out. Could you check and make sure there's a credit for the work that they didn't have to do there with the jackhammer tearing that old prison wall out?
Yeah, I can't check on that. I think that they had unit pricing in there whenever they put the bid in. But we'll check and see if there's going to be any money coming back for not tearing it
Yeah,
out.
it should be.
Thanks for mentioning that, Bill. And I'd also like to say, John Campbell caught that the doors were not quite up to par as far as quality. He felt they were the wrong specs, and the commissioners agree with that. So I appreciate it. We're spending a little money now. It's going to save us a lot in the long run. So I appreciate you catching that, John, okay? Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Next under the prison, Rick Schaefer.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Rick.
I have two items for your approval this morning. The first one is the approval of a contract with Geyser Addiction Center to provide drug and alcohol treatment services to the individuals enrolled in the Prison Community Reintegration Program for a 9-month period from April 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2015, and the cost is not to exceed $71,933.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that motion.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The second one is an approval of contract with Center for Community Resources, Inc., to provide intensive drug and alcohol case management services to inmates of the reentry program for the 9-month period, April 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2015, at a cost of $3,500 per month for a total of $31,500.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Can I say something here?
Yes.
I really appreciate that the prison board gave their opinion on this, and that was unanimous, I believe. It was unanimous. Rick, you were there, was?
Yes.
Yeah, and okay, it was unanimous, and I really appreciate the support they gave us on this issue, so I'm thankful for that. They don't make the ultimate decision, but it's really nice that we had their input, and they agreed, so I'm grateful for that, okay? Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, under assessment, Chris Savage. Oh, I'm sorry, you did not vote on that last item.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Now you're on, Chris.
Good morning.
Nice tie.
Thank you.
Sharp today.
I'm here today to ask approval of a payment in lieu of taxation agreement between South Butler School District, Saxonburg Borough, the County of Butler, and Saxonburg Presbyterian Senior Housing for tax parcel number 500, S as in Sam 3, parcel 24, a low-income multi-family housing complex with authorization for chairman to sign.
Is there a motion? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
This follows along with the ones we've done in Center Township and Slippery Rock, I believe.
Yes, it does.
Same thing.
Yes.
And this allows them to have a reduced tax rate because they are providing income for low-income housing. And we did take it to court once and we lost.
Yes, we did.
So we're further ahead to approve it.
Yes.
Those in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Next, under Human Services, Children and Youth Agency, Charlie Johns.
Good morning,
Hi,
Commissioners.
Charlie.
I have one item for your approval today, and that is the reappointment of Dennis Ditch to serve another 3-year term on the CYS Advisory Board, and this term will end January 2018.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? I'll second it.
I'd like to speak on this.
Okay.
Okay, the Butler Eagle did a nice explanation of this at the Monday meeting, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I see a real problem in the county with boards being too chummy with the director, or, you know, this person, I'm grateful for their service. It's not about Dennis. It's not about Dennis. It could be John Smith, anybody there. This is really important to get a break. If you're on a board for 6 years, you know, you need a break. It's not that I'm not thankful for people serving on boards, that they get too, you end up not having independent voices and unanimous votes by the truckloads because they're just too friendly. You know, when somebody does 24 years on the board, I'm voting against this because it's going to make it 27. And I just don't agree with that policy. I think it's a bad policy. I think that we don't have to get them to change their policy. We have the option here of giving them term limits. We can make every board member just get 6 years max. Now, whether it's on the Parks and Recreation Board, when I first came here, I had that argument with some of the people on that. And they changed the bylaws so they can have them on there forever. I was against that. So anybody at the Monday's meeting that got sort of, you know, it's like I have this vendetta about these certain people. That's not it at all. I just don't believe in the system. The system's failing us when you have board members on there, and that's my opinion, and that's why I'm going to vote no on this. Thank you very much.
I'd like to make a statement there. This is an advisory board. This board does not vote. This board is only there to give advice. And one of the problems with boards is it's not always easy to get people to serve on boards. We have literally probably hundreds of boards throughout Butler County. And some of these people have served on them for many, many years. And I'm grateful to them, but I've also tried to get people to serve on boards, and it's very, very difficult, some of these boards. They don't want to serve on them. The WIP board's a good example. We have a lot of difficulty getting people to serve on that board. So the fact that they're willing to serve, and it's only an advisory board, says to me that I'm willing to take his advice on that board for another 3 or 4 years or another term, whatever it is, because he doesn't vote.
I'd like to rebut that.
Dale wanted to say something.
I would also like to say that our volunteers
give of their time. They drive in here. They don't get paid a penny. They're only as advisories. They don't make a penny. But they're willing to come in here because a lot of them are educators and people who understand what's going on in our school systems and so forth, which Dennis is one of them. And my hat's off to every volunteer that's out there year after year helping. And I don't believe that it's a group of people that just get together and say, when I go to those meetings, those people bring up really good questions for whatever department it is, whether it's Area on Aging, Children and Youth, Human Services. And they are hard to find people for. We have had to search for people on some of those boards just to get up to the numbers that the state requires us to. And for us to say to all the people that are on these boards who give of their lives and time and talents that they're off the boards, and then go out and try to find people and not be able to find them, it just appalls me that Jim thinks in the manner that he does. And if they were getting paid big money, I'd probably agree with them, but they're not. And they are giving of their community time. And if I look at it, the only committee that Jim was ever on was the Mental Health Board, and he lasted 3 months and they threw him off. And to my knowledge, that's the only one. And the other thing that he did is he saved the hospital, but he also got paid for that. And I don't know if he claims it on his income tax or not, but he did get paid some money for doing that. And other than that, I don't know what he's done for our community other than try to just cause turmoil with our employees, and especially 2 departments, Human Service and Children and Youth. And I'm appalled at what he does to people on how he goes to meetings and literally bullies people on a day-to-day basis and tries to make them mad and get his name in the paper. So that's all I have to say.
Jim, you have something else to
Yeah,
say?
and I'd like to make this clear to everybody. I went to an attorney that worked pro rata on Save the Hospital. I never took a dime to do that. I have records that are immaculate. Anybody that would like to audit me to see if I took $1 from every dollar that went in, went back out. Every dollar, okay? I have records, and Bill DeCuccio got me an attorney that worked pro, Shelley Long, and she advised me what to do, and I stuck by it. And for anybody to say that I took money and didn't spend it on a campaign, I spent every dollar on, I have records to prove it, and be glad to show it to anybody under any circumstances, okay? So he is flat out wrong, okay? Look, he made some other quote there, I forgot what it was because it's so ridiculous. You know, he just said I took money. I wasn't a nonprofit. I got legal advice, and she was recommending, Bill DeCuccio helped me get it for free. I stuck by the law. I wasn't a 501c3. I took the money and spent it on what I told people I was going to do, like the Boy Scouts or something.
That's all I said, Jim.
You know, you're wrong. You lied. Okay, I didn't take any money. And I want to say this. The Area on Aging Board, I'll give you a people example. The Area on Aging Board voted unanimously to study, look, we do studies here and the director recommends it. They voted unanimously to study to shut down the senior center. Okay? What is the chance that nobody on that board, let me tell you, there's plenty on it. There's like 12 or 15. What is the chance that that's totally unanimous, that nobody thinks we ought to have a Slippery Rock Senior Center, or we ought to move them to Cranberry and Clearview Mall? Now, why did that happen? You know why that's happening? Because the boards aren't working right. They're too chummy. How could you come up with a vote like that? There's nothing. Nobody thought that we ought to keep the Slippery Rock Senior Center open, the Shakora Senior Center, that it would be too far to drive to Cranberry or Clearview Mall. Not a person thought that way. Now, come on. The system is not working. You know, the system is not working. They didn't talk to anybody about doing it. We heard from the women right there. They didn't talk to them and ask them if they wanted to do it. You know, I haven't seen, I'll talk to my in-laws, they're senior citizens, whether they got the study, but the system is not working, okay? You know, that's why if it was working, we wouldn't need to change it. And I'd also like to make it very clear here. I've got the proof. I was on the mental health board for 2 years and 7 months. Or no, that's wrong. 2 years and 9 months. I questioned, we were missing $70,000. $70,000. When I went to the AG's office, they research nonprofits. They said, if you went to the AG's office, if you go, we're going to throw you off because you want to find that $70,000. I says, it's too late, I already went. They voted to throw me off. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it, Dale. We had big money missing. I'll stick by it. I have, you know, the books. There was money missing. They didn't care. Dale gave another example how the director was on there for over 20 years. I love her, Pam Gray. I didn't have a problem with her, but the board has an obligation when the books come before us and you're missing $70,000, not to say we shouldn't look for it. I called the Attorney General's office up. I told them I did, and they threw me off. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what I did. Attorney Will Price was on there. Let him tell you. He voted me off. I'll let him explain it. I'm proud of what I did. Thank you very much.
I would like to make an additional comment. We have a lot of boards in Butler County, as I stated earlier. We have a lot of organizations that require advisory boards and boards of trustees and directors to vote. Butler County is a great place. We're the envy of most counties around us. So these boards must be doing something right because things are great here. We have the lowest unemployment in Pennsylvania, as I understand, is the last figure that come out. We have low taxes. We have everything going for us in Butler County. So some of these boards must be doing a pretty good job. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries.
I'm opposed. Okay.
Next, under planning, the bridge program, Kevin Gray.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Hi, Kevin.
This morning I'll be asking for your approval of a bid for concrete to East Schwartzlander. That price was $1,600.65. $1,600 and $1,665. Keep on adding zeros.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
First item under Commissioners, we're asking your approval of an addendum letter to the February 4th, 2015 engagement letter from Mar Dussel outlining hourly rates. We ask your approval.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, we ask for your I'm so sorry.
Since
Controller
this
Holman.
item was under the controller, may I just address the board?
Sure, that's great. Great with me. Come on up, Ben.
I just want, it came to my attention that there was language added to this addendum that subjected the controller to the approval of the Board of the Commissioners for audits, which are by law, it's an immutable law in Pennsylvania under the county code, that any monies that are settled or adjusted by the controller's office are subject to the audit at the discretion of the controller. So this would be in addition to the row offices and the minor judiciary. So I was just confirming whether or not that language was in the addendum.
That language is in there, Ben, and the reason for that language, from my perspective, is that the commissioners are responsible for all contracts and all monies that the county spends, and we felt that, I'm sure it's not going to happen in your case, but if we had a controller that wanted to go out and audit anything came along, we wouldn't be able to stop them.
That is actually a great point, but I would remind you that there's a budgetary control in place. The contracted audits in the controller's office budget is at $40,000. So after you take out the row offices, and I believe actually, just a point of clarification, the minor judiciary, which is the magistrate's office, is actually currently paid out of the general fund. But even after you take out the row office audits, there's not much money left. So to go out and do an audit would be very difficult. I'm approaching you on the principle of the matter. If I really had the intention to go out and do numerous, conduct a myriad of audits, I'd be certainly asking for more money in the budget. It's the principle of the matter, not impairing the independence of the controller's office.
Well, we felt at least I did, I felt was a principle too, because of the responsibility that the commissioners have. But anyway, the motion's been made and passed.
Well, I just want to go on record that I adamantly disagree.
Well,
Thank you.
I agree with Ben on it. I'd just like to say, I absolutely agree with Ben. You know, Jack McMillan did this, and it saves us a lot of money by having an independent auditor versus a full-time employee. So,
This doesn't change anything that happens in practice. There's no substantive change here.
What the independent auditor was for in-house, and this doesn't change that at all.
And this doesn't limit the statutory authority. I hope Ben understands. This doesn't limit the statutory authority of his office in any way.
okay, well, that's the key point then, Mike.
I think that's my opinion of the law.
You can't limit his statutory authority given to him under the code.
No.
Right, okay.
Okay, next item.
Next, we're asking your ratification of the approval to write off 2 non-sufficient fund checks received in April of 2014 from Sunnyview residents. This was when the county was still owning a Sunnyview home, and these are in the amount of $1,004.63 and $989.95 respectively. Under Board of Commissioners policy, any amount over $500 must be approved in a public forum. We ask your approval.
Is there a motion to approve this?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
And I assume that we're still pursuing collection of these funds.
Yeah, I've looked into this. One of the individuals is deceased and has no estate. I don't think there's likely much to be done there. The other now has an attorney that's handling their affairs, and I don't yet have that information, but once I do, I'll reach out to that individual, and if that's not successful, we can pursue other matters to collect. This doesn't impact collection in any way.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up, Bill.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, Commissioners, you are adopting Resolution 2015-05. This is urging the Pennsylvania General Assembly to amend Chapter 53 of Title 35 of the Pennsylvania Consolidated Statutes relating to emergency telephone services. This is formerly the Public Safety Emergency Telephone Act. And this is this Board of Commissioners joining its voice with the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania in urging our legislative delegation to support a rewrite of this statute relating to 911 funding and system reform. We ask your approval.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
The purpose of this is to equalize the funding between cell phones and landlines. Right now, if you have a landline, you pay more per call or per month on your phone bill than you do if you have a wireless phone. And it's not right because more and more people are using wireless phones, so we feel that the fee should be the same on both wireless and landlines. And this money comes back to run the 911 center. This is money that there used to be enough money, I believe, coming in to operate the 911 center from these funds. However, now it's fall short of what we need to operate our 911 center. So this will increase funding if it passes the legislature to run our 911 center and cut back the amount we have to take from the general fund to put into that.
And I'd like to say this, Bill's absolutely right on that. When we did have a $1 mil increase, a $0.5 mil, we were burdened with really high increases there because it's not covering it. We actually already raised a $0.5 mil. That was maybe 3 years ago, Bill, that our hands were tied. You know, this is going on the back of the property owner instead of the people that have the phones. And it's not right, but we had no choice but to raise the $0.5 mil tax on that. So I agree with Bill on that.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Next, we ask your approval to accept a donation of cases to display the inductees of the Butler County Sports Hall of Fame. These cases are to be installed by our facilities and operations personnel in the adjoining hallway that leads into Keister Commons on the 3rd floor of the Government Center. We ask your approval.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
And again, this, for explanation, these Hall of Fame pictures were, I believe, in the Days Inn, weren't they?
Yes.
And the Days Inn decided, I guess, that they didn't want them there any longer, so they're in storage right now. And the Hall of Fame committee came to us and asked us if they could put them in the entrance to the bridge going across from this building to the old building, right at the entranceway, not in the bridge itself. And the display cases will be built by the Tech School, so there's no cost to the county other than our people installing them. And these pictures then will all be on display up there in a very appropriate. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Our last item is we are seeking approval of an agreement between the County of Butler and the City of Butler for the lease of 5 parking spaces in front of the prison at a total of $200 per month. The term of the agreement is March 1st, 2015 through May 1st, 2016, with automatic 1-year renewals thereafter. This agreement supersedes the prior agreement of $150 per month from May 20th, 2009. We ask your approval.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
That's all for new business, sir.
Is there a motion to approve the budgetary transfers?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there a motion to approve the new hires?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the travel requests?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that. I'd like to comment on this.
Okay.
I'd like to now recognize 4 county employees from domestic relations. Their names are Michelle Dinehart, Betsy Kopp, Jennifer Titus, and Jean Bianco. The 4 of them together, they go, and it's really important to go to these training classes, but they decided that they'd share a room. And these are, I always emphasize this, these training classes have really helped me for commissioner, and I really am for this. But these 4 individuals saved the county $940 on one trip. And a lot of county employees really care about, saving money for the county. And I'd like to commend those 4 people for saving the county that $940. A very nice thing. Thank you very much.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. A motion to approve the requisitions.
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion
And
carries.
that was mine.
Is there a motion to approve the check register?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries. Kayla?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Can you give me a little background on the proposed closing of the senior centers? When did you start looking into this, or how did it come about? I'm not familiar.
Well, I believe that this has been looked at for some time. Other counties have done this. A prime example is adjoining Lawrence County. They have one large senior center, and they get far greater attendance. One of the concerns we've had just recently, we've had a mandate from, maybe mandate's the wrong word, we've had a request from the administration in Harrisburg to better use the funds and reach more seniors. Now, our senior centers, we're spending between $700,000 and $750,000 a year, and we're only reaching approximately 200 or less seniors
Total.
in all of those senior centers. So that's one of the things that is being looked at to see if it will work better. Now, if it were to be moved up to the Clearview Mall, which is the place that's being looked at now, if an agreement could be reached, and again, that's not definite yet either. There are more things that could be done there. For instance, they've talked to the YMCA. They would come up there and offer exercise classes. They've talked with, and these are all possibilities, and Don Noller can correct me if I'm wrong. He's on the board of the Area Agency on Aging. But another thing that you would not necessarily have to eat the meals they provide. They would give you vouchers that you could go to any of the restaurants in the mall. And these people talked about the inconvenience of driving to Butler. They would have a bus service which would pick them up at the current senior center, wherever it may be, and bring them in, and then take them back home at the appropriate time. So those are some of the reasons it's being looked at.
So just to clarify 1 second, there would be a bus service at each of the former senior centers
Yes.
that would bus them in?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'd like to say this. Here's the problem with this. That 200 seniors at the centers is erroneous. That's meals only as far as I know. I asked Beth Harold for data on the Lawrence County meals only, and I just had a meeting with her yesterday. That's in the works. She did not say she had that, but the 200, we have the people from Slippery Rock just say right here, they have exercise classes, they have different classes. Now, they have a new system in place that's computer operated with the code, what's that called again, the barcode? It's a barcode. You come in and you log in on a computer. You can log in for time, for personal, build relationships or conversations with people, yoga, cards, and you punch in. Well, one center only just got the unit 4 weeks ago, and that would be Mount Chestnut. So they really don't have a long-term data to support their conclusions. Okay, Mount Chestnut just got it. Now they're saying, well, we don't serve meals. Well, a lot of people say the meals aren't that good and they don't want the meals. So they just come for the exercise. And by the way, the exercise classes are put on by Blue Cross and Blue Shield, a consortium at the senior centers. It's called the Silver Sneakers or something like that. It's put on and you only pay a small fee. They're there now, and the healthcare companies pay for that for wellness. And the people, if you don't belong to Blue Cross and Blue Shield or UPMC, then you pay $2. Now they don't put you out if you don't. Now I'll commend the senior citizens for this. If you can't afford lunch, they ask for a $2.50 donation. If you can't afford it, they don't turn anybody away. They made that clear to me. That's their policy, and I commend them for that. But they do have exercise programs now, and we're not even paying for them in general. Now, it's a voluntarily contribution if you want. The insurance companies put on the programs. They come for both yoga and the exercise classes, okay? But we have to work out, if you just developed a system to analyze how much people are using the different things they offer, and you just got it, why would you not analyze that properly? I don't know why. We're making a move too soon. Thanks, Caleb.
One thing I might add, there are 39,000 seniors in Butler County. And if the number is wrong, if it's more than 200, it's not very many more. So we're still only reaching a very, very small minority of the seniors in Butler County. And the hope would be that we could reach more seniors. That's what the state has asked, that we reach out and include more seniors in our senior centers.
Thank you, Bill.
Is that all, Kayla?
Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Yes. How long ago did the AAA board come up with this recommendation?
I don't know, Dawn, do you know? It's been 6 months, 8 months ago that they started talking about this.
Last September
Last September?
of 2014.
Okay.
And was there a reason this didn't come up at a public meeting before now?
Well, because we were only talking about it. The AAA board was only talking about it. They weren't taking any definite steps. It's like any board meeting, ideas are thrown out. And you pursue them to see whether they would be feasible or not before you make any definite announcements.
And those meetings are public, right? I mean,
Yeah, they're public meetings. You used to go to those, didn't you, Tom?
Not me.
Oh, okay. You're welcome.
And there's been no decision made at this level, right? I mean, I want to make sure everybody's clear about that.
But there's been no discussion either.
It hasn't even come up to this level yet. This is,
Well, wait a minute. It was discussed in Bill McCarter's office, okay? Well, you could say we were briefed on it. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, I think Beth
we
was
were
informed
briefed
about
on it
Right.
from Beth Harold
Right.
and Billy Joe.
Right.
And those meals are tasty. I have ate them myself.
And so have I think they're tasty too, but some people complain. They complain about school lunches. I agree with you. I thought it was very good. I do agree with you.
Anything else?
Mike, on the issue about the authority, does the county have any leverage at all to insist on an explanation whenever they resolve their personnel issues or whatever they're
well, leverage
claiming
isn't
it
really
is?
a legal question. I mean, it is the issue of the status of any authority employees is within the purview of that board. The county has many different connections to that board and agreements with them on various projects, and the county commissioners do appoint the members of that board.
In other words, can the authority just make this all go away without any
Well, I don't
information
know what you mean
distributed to
by,
the public?
I'm not going to comment on anything that vague.
Okay.
It's their jurisdiction.
let me phrase it this way. If there is some resolution of some sort, whether the former, or the still director leaves employment from the authority, do they have any obligation to explain what happened?
I don't know how I can answer that question. I mean, it would depend on how that all occurred and what happened. But, I mean, again, I'll go back to, they're an independent, statutorily created body where this decision lies and this responsibility lies.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Tom, one comment on that. There's been a lot of criticism on the fact that the people have been put on leave with pay. And this is not something that the authority has done. This is a civil service mandate. They're under civil service and it's required that they be paid on leave like that.
You know, can I comment, can I ask Mike English a question? Do we have the authority, here's my question to the solicitor.
Sure.
When they get terms in office of the authority, do the commissioners have the right to set the limit on their terms? Say they were elected for 3 years, and we say, well, it's not going well. Can
you remove them from office?
Can we remove them from office? That's my question.
I can't answer that with definitively here. The statute doesn't speak to that. The statute just says that you create the authority and you appoint the members. I think that is a question that in order to properly answer it, I would have to look at the bylaws of that organization, which I have not looked at this time. I'd be glad to if you would like.
I wish you would do that, because I know Fitzgerald did it in Allegheny County with the Port Authority, so I'd really like to know that information.
I mean, you can ask that they resign, I know that, I mean, but that's not.
No, that's what I'm talking
Right.
about.
What, the ability to remove them is a specific question that is not answered by the statute.
Okay.
And that board was created I can't even tell you when, years ago, so I didn't have that file, but I will look it up and.
Yeah, there's 2 board members at least over 20 years.
Tom, do you have anything else?
That's all, thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll second it.
Those in favor? Aye.